Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashim, Yehoshai, Bashim, Hakwadash, double honors to Apostle Tahar and all the fervent elders who are pushing this word throughout the four corners in distinct truth and sincerity. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the sincere Akim, pushing this word throughout the four corners, doing this thing in truth and sincerity. I want to say Shalom and salutations. And this is a video covering a few things that happened in the last few days regarding Babylon and the violence that's consuming it. And I like to cover these things when it hits. The Spirit told me to cover it the other day, but the news was just rolling. It was just coming in with more shootings, and also on a minute level, like a local level, there was a lot of other things that's going on with these Babylonians, these people losing it, going off the hinges, and killing people, sending people back to the spirit world, and having that spirit of vengeance on them. So one here, it says authorities identify a 72-year-old man as suspected gunman in Lunar New Year's mass shooting. This is January 22nd. So this is the Monterey Park shooting. It says authorities have identified the man responsible for shooting for a deadly shooting inside a Monterey Park dance studio as Hemet resident. This is a guy, he was 72. It says Tran died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in a strip mall parking lot near Saveda and Hawthorne Boulevards in Torrance. Law enforcement sources said, "We still are not clear on the motive. The investigation continues." So there was a manhunt for this guy who went on this shooting. As I was looking at certain videos, they suspect that his wife went to the party. There was a party, Lunar New Year party. I believe this is Moab. I believe he's a Moabite, so-called Chinese, and his wife was invited to that party, and he wasn't, and he lost it. That's supposedly. But when I see events like this, with the mass shooting, with the casualties high, and the news is reporting on it, I ultimately think it's contrived, meaning it was pre-planned and it was orchestrated by either government officials or the certain PD departments, these officers, and because they're involved as well. I've noticed these so-called police or whatever, they of course they have to take an oath, and they're a part of the Freemasons. And my old school in Missouri, it has it's basically, when they have their sponsors and things of that nature outside on the outside on this little thing. It says it's the Freemasons, and a lot of times the high school, police department office, and Freemasonry office, they're all pretty much in the city courts. They're all in the same vicinities, but it's projected to be an organic event, and they put on tiers and put on a show, when it's all, most of the time, a sacrifice to the spiritual demon Satan. That's how they believe that they keep their power, so you have to keep that in mind as well. So, but there's another one shooting in California. It says 7 dead, gunman arrested. in Northern California shootings. Okay, so it says gunmen killed 7 people at 2 agricultural businesses in Northern California, plunging the state into mourning again in the wake of its 3rd mass killing in 8 days. So we're just in the beginning of January, the first month of the year in America, and there's been several mass shootings. And there's going to eventually be talks of the weapons that are used in these events being taken away or heavily put laws against. Like they like to call it a assault weapon, which any weapon that you use can be used as assault weapon, because when you're using it, you're assaulting someone. But they like to manipulate the people and use that word assault rifles and things of that nature to demonize it. Okay, because that's their agenda. They're looking forward to disarming the American people because they know these American people have guns out the wazoo. I know, especially here in Michigan, they do. And I was seeing one post from this one lady. She was like, when is this gonna end? When is this gonna stop? It's not gonna stop. It's not gonna stop until this place goes up in flames. It's gonna continue. Actually, it's gonna continue to get worse. And good for this place, because this place promotes nothing but violence and debauchery. So it's just reaping what it sows. All right, so I think I have a little bit of video on that.
Members of our community, this is a horrific event, one that we would never imagine would occur in San Mateo County. Gun violence in this country is at completely unacceptable levels. It's really hit home tonight. Our hearts are broken. We are deeply grateful for law enforcement for their work this evening. But in the end, there are simply too many guns in this country, and there has to be a change. This is not an acceptable way for modern society to live and conduct its affairs.
And some video footage has also emerged now. It shows the police detaining the suspect. Reports say he drove himself to a police parking lot, apparently to turn himself in. So who exactly was this man? Well, he's been identified as Zhao Chun Li, a 67-year-old disgruntled farm worker. The police are saying he acted entirely alone and used a semi-automatic handgun for the crime. But the question is, what were his motivations? What led to this?
All right, so they always wants to know the motivations and why they do that. Well, because they're bugged out. They're plagued with demons. All right? They have the spirit of vengeance upon them. And you can see this at a minute level. You can see this at the lower level. When you're driving, you can see that. And in public places, they have no regard for anybody but themselves, these people. Okay? So they got what's coming to them. They ain't right worth a damn, man. All you have to do is be a decent person, but that's not in them to do that, because they're at that state, they're at that level of entitlement. Everything belongs to them. They got to get what they want whenever they need it. not being considerate of anybody else. And one thing that makes them wrong or makes them tick, they gonna grab something and put something down, man. Body bag something. So this is 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." There was also an event in Atlanta regarding that definitely government backed group Antifa causing hell. It's basically just an anarchy group, you know. But yeah, it's going to get really bad. As far as I believe 2023 is going to be surpass 2022 as far as deaths or killings, if you will. I think it's going to be worse. Let me see here. So those was in California, Monterey Park, and Oakland. I think this one was in Des Moines. It says suspect arrested in Des Moines shooting that left 2 dead students. Founder of education program, serious condition. So one in serious condition. A man was arrested and charged with murder after shooting an educational program for at-risk youth in Des Moines, Iowa, left 2 students dead, and the program's founder seriously injured, authorities said in a press release. Okay. Like going Duffy out here, man. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 23 and 4. And it reads, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff that comfort me." So the Lord is with us. He has the spirit of Yahushua is upon us when we're walking out here in this evil world. Because at any given turn, something can happen. Any given turn, any street you go down, or wherever you're walking, there can be evil afoot, and there can be evil plans set. But the Lord lets us know that we have nothing to fear, that we don't have to be walking out here scared. Now, we do have to be circumspect, and I'll get that. Because, you know, every time I'm outside, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know if I gotta go to A to B, and I gotta go from B to C, and that's it. And I'm being conscious of what's around me and how I'm moving. This is Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." So walking circumspectly means to look around, to be aware of your surroundings, be aware of the areas that you're in. Now, if I'm going somewhere, let's say in an area where it's not, it could be where maybe a lot of crime could be, or a lot of a lot of Negroes is at, a lot of Jakes. You be more aware where you park and things of that nature. And certain maneuvers, how to move. Even if you're in big cities, you may know, okay, because a lot of state police officers be in certain cities in Michigan. The state police is the ones with the cherry tops, got the blue vehicles with the cherry tops on top of them. They ain't just on the highways and things of that nature. They be in the cities as well, and they will pop you for things. They will get on you, so that Satan doesn't have his way with you, because you're walking accordingly. Now, these people don't give a damn All right, they'll cut you off in traffic. They'll ride your ass. Speed up just to get in front of you. Things of that nature. And that's what gets a lot of people in trouble. That's what gets a lot of people killed, because they felt like they were disrespected. Now, we let these people have it for the most part. If we have to rebuke them, so be it. But for the most part, they can have it because this is their world. And they're going to die in their world for their refusal, for them being wicked, and they're refusing to get themselves right. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24. And then I'll close it. Matthew chapter 24, verse 12. And it reads, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." So iniquity, meaning the sins built up, the reprobate mindset that these people have and refuse to change it, the love of many shall wax cold. So they won't have any love in their heart. They won't have any regard for anyone but themselves. I can't even say themselves. Just being all out renegade. And as we can see, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. That's why we see these things take place. We see these things, such as those articles, pop up, and we do videos to show the hopeful elected true believers how bad it's getting out here, and that the Lord Yahushua has to deliver us from these evil and wicked people. So Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakha Kodash, the honors the apostles and the elders, that great millstone who rule well. Shalom.